Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Why can't I share my screen? That's odd. He said oddly, going back to the Chrome tab. Something must have happened. There must have been a software upgrade. Ermagerd, said the internet. Looks like we're doing sound. Looks like we're streaming. Chat ho. Chat? Why, thank you. Okay. Why is there a heart on there? Okay. So if I play this.
Might be fun to do an acoustic version of.
Okay, so why can't I broadcast that? Ooh, now it's back. Do I have the wrong profile active? Maybe I should learn to set up scenes and be professional. Well, that was interesting. Anyway, so rabbit holes. OBS is its own rabbit hole, I'll tell you that, just learning how to do things live. Yeah, but so recently I needed a knot, and I can't remember what it was for really. I was trying to make something adjustable, and I wanted a good adjustable knot. So I go to YouTube, and most of these rabbit holes are instigated by YouTube, because once you do a search, you see a lot of peripheral things. Knots are so useful. They're found under many genres, for anywhere from climbing to sailing to bushcraft. So So I watched a lot of videos about knots, and I think I eventually selected something pretty basic, like one of those tarp knots. What do they call it? A taut line hitch, I think, a good old Boy Scout adjustable thing. But in the meantime, you learn about knots, and if you're really curious, you can learn about ropes. And then once you learn about ropes, you can learn about cordage that makes up ropes. And once you learn about cordage, you can learn about fibers. Once you learn about fibers, you can learn about plants. And by the time you're done, you know, you spent a good many hours figuring out how things got done, from the olden days right up through the current days, and learning about ropes and using cordage and ropes to make soles for sandals. And even though you found the knot you were looking for, you know, an hour or two earlier. So I won't say it's the web anymore. It's YouTube. YouTube is, I guess, my primary interaction with the web, aside from my transcription adventures here. I use Sound Slice. I think I did a tour of that before. But, if a song's worth learning, it's worth writing down, I think, because I, number one, can't remember anything too long if I don't play it. And then just the act of writing and transcribing gets you, helps you with the language of music better, I think. So you recognize patterns and things and intervals and all that stuff. Anyway, just a bunch of jabber on that. Another recent rabbit hole. Is the hobby of pipe smoking. And I can't remember why I picked that. I think I was reminiscing about my great-grandfather, and he always used to have a pipe going and well into his 90s. And my dad also was he was a more of a hardcore tobacco user for many, many years. But he did enjoy a pipe once in a while. And what I remembered about piping from both those gentlemen, now deceased, that they smelled good to the user. The smoldering thing made you think of a campfire. At least it did for me. And I like campfire wood smoke, and low smoldering things, not where it's blowing in your face and making your eyes all yucky and everything. So I thought, that would be great to have that smell, aroma of a light amount of smoke like that. So, as one does, corncob pipes cost about $10 or less, and you can get a pouch of tobacco at your local tobacco store if you have one, or I don't know if gas stations have them, but just so happens there is a local tobacco store not too far from my house, so I just thought, I'll just try a pouch. Got the old corncob pipe and then went online to see what are you supposed to do with the damn thing. And it turns out you can load it a million different ways, light it a million different ways. All kinds of different setups for pipe smoking. And then you can certainly get into the problem of what to smoke in it, and there's a variety of things. And but I thought I'd try the tobacco thing. I used to smoke cigarettes when I was a young man, and of course after years of health issues I had to give that up. But I figured, if you could just puff a pipe, get it going, get a smolder going, and let the campfire smell good kind of thing, that you could perhaps enjoy it like either a smudge pot or an incense type of thing. Just let the bowl smolder and have it all smell good. But the thing I learned is that you can't. The power of tobacco, the overwhelming power of it is that you can't get that taste out of your mouth, so you can actually smell the aroma of the smoke unfettered by what's going in your tongue and mouth. Even if you don't inhale, obviously. So it kind of detracted from the smoldering experience, especially number two, because pipes are finicky. They don't like to smolder. They like you to piddle around with them and suck on them so that they stay going. And it's a challenge to get a good enough smolder going without having to spend all your time managing the burn, so to speak. And so I learned a little bit of a lesson that way, that pipe smoking is what you want other people to do so you can enjoy the smoldering smell. Of course, some tobaccos kind of don't smell that good, and there's all that. And I did accidentally inhale just a tiny bit And my God, the effect of nicotine is almost immediate. And you can actually get a little bit, I think, through your mouth as the smoke interacts with your saliva and sticks on your wet parts. But you can notice the heart rate increase and the blood pressure increase. And I think that's strangely one of the reasons I liked smoking back when I was young, is it really helps you focus on what you're thinking about, because it's kind of a stimulant. I think it narrows all your blood vessels, increases your blood pressure, and you are thinking real hard about what you're focusing on. And so got a lot of work done when I used to be able to smoke in the workplace. But, that was 40 years ago now. It's 30-something at least. Whenever the mid-'80s were, early to mid-'80s. So, anyway, so that was another rabbit hole. And that one wasn't quite so productive. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I've read a lot of stuff that there are herbal smokes that don't have nicotine in them, so you're not going to get that buzz or drug or chemical effect. I guess it's a drug, chemical effect anyway, of the high blood pressure and the increased heart rate, which you don't want. So, especially for me, who's already got high blood pressure and other heart issues. So it would be nicer to have a less toxic chemical intake. But even be that as it may, the smoke is so overpowering in your face when you draw on it that it's hard to enjoy the smolder. So maybe just starting a small fire outside is enough. Pouring some aromatic herbs over the fire, maybe that's the trick to get different kinds of wood smoke smells other than the birch twigs that I tend to burn around here. Anyway, so that's a long story about that rabbit hole. And the other one is certainly guitars. I can't go into too much, but as much as I hate TikTok and shorts and reels and stuff like that, I did bump into, I think it was a short, the guy explained, this is what John Coltrane did. This is called a Coltrane pentatonic. And I'm like, really? A Coltrane pentatonic? I guess that makes sense. Does it? I don't really know. Because if I think of a Coltrane or a pentatonic, there's the old here's a C minor pentatonic. Which is kind of like neutered blues. And then you make that minor thing a major once in a while, and so that's good. But there's this Coltrane pentatonic, which instead of C, D, E flat, C, D, E flat, F, and G. Why is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Oh, I'm sorry about that. C, E flat, F, G, and is that a D? No, it can't be. B flat. Huh? Oh, man. One, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, back to the 1. Five notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So what Coltrane does, according to this short video, is instead of skipping notes, he does what? He does the first 4, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3. It is 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, flat 3, 5. 1, 2, 3. And then instead of C, D, E flat, G, A natural. So it's got a little more of the. I mean, honestly, if it was the, if that was normal E, it would be the. The major pentatonic. So it's closer to the major pentatonic than a minor pentatonic, even though it's got the minor third in it. Which any Rush fan would recognize as Stick It Out. And so it sounds interesting, and it probably works over. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a melodic minor scale. So I'm wondering. Which is some interesting patterns, the way it fits under your fingers. But anyway, I can't quite figure it out. Other than that sound, I don't understand exactly why the Coltrane pentatonic is important. and how I would use it over any sort of jazz progression, much less giant steps, which I don't even remember that progression anymore, but it's kind of like everything's in thirds. So maybe it works over that. I'm not sure how I'd analyze it. I'm one of those persons who suffers from too much muscle memory from playing rock and roll. So, anyway, I think that's all I got for today. Those were the main rabbit holes. Suppose we could go look at the YouTube news. Can we get a new thing here? YouTube. Oh, look. See, I'm live. Rabbit holes. A whole bunch of survivalist stuff. So, where is the news? News, there we go. So what news is fit to print? We're up to 2K dead in the Moroccan earthquake, which is pretty astounding for a 6-point-something earthquake. And don't know much of anything about Morocco, except maybe that's where Rick's Cafe American was back in the movie days. But it looks horrible. Yeah, we still got Lee turning around out in the Atlantic. Obviously, it's never going to make landfall. Probably will in Canada, would be. I think that's what's going on. Putin. Who's Dennis Prager? Never heard of him. Why does Bill Maher ever get any airplay? He's just a comedian. Tactical training groups. That's all we need is more people who think they know how to wield weapons. Never heard of any of these people. A racist Instagram account. I wonder how you do that. I thought you just posted pictures on Instagram. Some of this stuff is incredibly old. Burning Man, good grief. I thought everybody left there already. Vietnam. And that Pennsylvania prisoner. Ukraine, the war that keeps on giving. Strangely, I think there's enough people who are advising the president that the longer it drags out, the better it is for us. Simply because Russia becomes less of a competitor, it's less able to influence, or it lessens its influence around the world. And, you know, Ukraine would like it to accelerate and be over with already. And unfortunately, I don't think that's what our powers that be are trying to do. Well, the people and children suffer, because that's the nature of war. And that's why everybody goes to hell. Phoenix on track to set another heat record. Woo-ha. And drone strikes. I don't know anything about this Ken Paxton thing in Texas. Guess he was Biden was in India too? He's going to be one tired puppy of an old man. He's going to have to take a nap on Air Force One. And DeSantis, he's just such a... I mean, you look at that face. Is that a guy you want? And I know that's not really a good measure of a candidate is just to look at him. But by God. See, now look, Newsom is a guy you wouldn't mind. He actually combs his hair, doesn't have the crinkled brow, seems to make eye contact and doesn't squint. So I think if you just looked at him in the likability factor, you'd have to pick Newsom. But Newsom's from California, and they have weird things that happen in California and weird politics, and I have no idea what he would mean, and I don't think he would ever run anyway. He's too part of the old California guard at this point to be of any use in 2028, I think. But you never know. Just hopefully after 2024 is gone, this whole old crowd of the Trumpies and the Bidens and everybody we've been dealing with since 2008, they all go away. So we got the G20 in New Delhi, which is an interesting place to have it. India has always been an economic, always in the shadow of China, but I mean, it's a huge ally, economic ally for the United States. Vietnam too. I mean, I think they actually make all our clothes. I'm probably wrong about that. That's just one of those things. Maybe I shouldn't just ramble about things. Maybe people would get mad at me if I said something that off the cuff that I didn't really know anything about. Maybe I could do that. Let's try that. 3 found dead at a Minnesota resort. Yeah, well, it was probably 29 below zero, and that didn't work. Burning Man. What the hell? Real News Network? Why is that ever in my feed? Now, what would I do here? Can I make this go away? All I can do is report it. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to click on it. Oh, I clicked on that. Son of a bitch. Don't do that. The Brewers Stadium. Why will we need a new stadium now? Is the old one really worn out? I thought they just got the cover working. Last time we built a new stadium, a giant crane fell down, killed a bunch of people, put it off for a year. And then the ceiling didn't work, or the cover, whatever you call that, the rain fly over the top of the building didn't work, and then they finally got it to work, and why build a new one? The Brewers aren't that good, number one. And even if they were, it holds enough. All right, should we look at sports? Today's a big football day, right? What's going on here? Gold medal of what? NBA? Fibwak? Fibwak? Germany is the basketball champions of the world? Well, how about that? NFL. Don't know anything about the NFL anymore. Lions v Chiefs. Week 1 picks. Don't really care. UFC, I really don't care. There's a controversial thing I can say is I really do not care about the UFC. It's not boxing, it's brutality, it's dumb. Dumbest thing I ever saw. Oh. Oh, somebody won the Grand Slam for the women. Coco Gauff. Looks like we have a new guard coming up after the Williamses. Buffs. What are Buffs? Following Buffs. Boulder was buzz following Buffs' big win in the... I don't know what a Buff is. NCAA, nobody cares about that other than people who have colleges in their town. Even if they never went to the college. I'll tell you though, my experience in consulting with a firm that has a college in one of these NCAA things, the Monday after football weekend, it's just talking about all the college stuff. Like, because it was in Alabama, and they don't have a pro team, so everything that they talk about is college sports. And Monday is a no work day. And no, I don't want to talk about college football or Auburn or whatever the hell. What's new in entertainment? Let's check that out. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis apologize for paying their letters in support of Masterson cause. Oh. Well, maybe somebody could sue them and get them down to a normal level of wealth. But I don't know. I mean, talk about luck. That show, I don't know who wrote it or stuff, but the cast and whoever directed it, and I guess the timing of it, and personally, my theory is it's the Cheap Trick theme song what made that show, and the pretty red-haired girl. There's only 2 reasons to tune into that show. And, was that guy, Ashton Kutcher was like the Vinnie Barbarito of back when I was in high school. Vinnie Barbarino, of course, being John Travolta when he was 19 or 20. And Kutcher was fairly young back in the 70s show. Which, ironically, they should have made some references to the television of the 70s. And I don't know if they ever did. I think they did some bands and stuff like that. I think there was even a Rush reference in that 70s show once. But the parents were hilarious, and anyway, but talk about luck, timing, and just having some sort of talented directors and writers that made that show, maybe producers too, that made the show move along. And because you look at it today and it's just like, this is the dumbest show I ever saw. Oh, there's our girl. What is her name? Rachel. She's Mrs. Maisel. I wonder what she's going to do now that Mrs. Maisel is gone. She'll still do comedy stuff or get more serious acting or just fade away like most. Yeah, more of this rape stuff. Who's this now? Sophie Turner, never heard of her. Joe Jonas, must be a boy band singer or something. Oh, Danny Masterson, goodbye to you. Which reminds me, there was a song called that, and it was by Patti Smythe, who was an awesome singer back in the God knows when. Back when I was living at home, I guess. So early 80s, 81. Goodbye to you. Yeah. She was actually pretty hot. And I think she wound up married to the John McEnroe. Which makes her older than I am, I think. Yeah, that's it for entertainment there. Joe Jonas, Masterson rape. Oh, who's Rihanna? And Rocky Newborn's baby name. Oh, who cares about that? Who's Sally Ann Roberts? Prince Harry. Why is he still in the news? His book is not selling right now. The Kutchers. Talk about dumb luck. It remains to be seen if that Kutcher guy can actually act in a movie. I think Mila Kunis. I think they're both better as voice actors. Although Ashton Kutcher was funny in the reboot of 2.5 Men after Charlie Sheen took a dump on his career. What's new in business? Who's making some money? Certainly not me. I've not made any money since 2017 is when I was removed from the workforce and never returned. Did we dodge a recession? Well, why don't we speculate endlessly on it and get people worried about it? Then we can be sure we'll have one. Ozempic is the wonder drug of the world, apparently. Not only will you get thin, it will fix dementia. Elon Musk is still Elon Musk. UAW strike, that's interesting. Wonder what their issues are. I'll have to pay attention to the news eventually. You'd think I could click on one of these and find anything out? Probably not in 139. I would imagine that they're fighting about healthcare and inflation compensation. Texas Power Grid. Now, I knew one of the guys who worked at, what was it? It wasn't called just Texas Power. I can't remember, but he was a big, tall Texan with a big, loud voice, and he worked at one of their things and was in charge of the mapping. Ooh. Well, I'm not going to zoom in here, but that's the kind of mapping that I'm talking about, and they still may be using. They still may be using that software from the olden days. That would be interesting because everybody from that era of software should be retired and should have transitioned to something different. Disney and Charter blackout leaves millions of sports fans. Well, tough luck, sports fans. Go start a fire in the backyard. Cook some hot dogs on the fire. Stocks slide again. Well, there goes my retirement. Kroger, Albertsons, they're going to sell stores. Pain at the pump? Agree to prolonged what? Production cuts. Well, that sucks, man. It was just 320 the other day. I was happy about that. I was so happy it was in the low threes. I filled up my car, which I rarely do. SpaceX must make some fixes. Did they ever release that publicly? What are the fixes? I didn't think there were that many. Oh, yeah. Chinese yuan falls to a 16-year low, meaning that they're slumping. Exports are slumping. Really? Send me more Chinese guitars then for free. I would be happy to import them. Expired COVID tests. Reliable? Probably doubt it. I wonder if there's any issues just tossing them in the landfill. Texas was hot for the last month. I think they are still close to 100, but not quite as bad as like Arizona-like temperatures. But Jesus. Just a concrete heat sink. What's new in technology besides Apple? Apple. That's all that's new, because Apple is all the technology you need to know about, or else some Microsoft game. Apple. To buy or not to buy the iPhone 15. Why, Apple has issued an emergency software update. Apple, iPhone. Christ. I'd hate to have to get one of those. Starfield. So is this PlayStation stuff? Who here has never, ever played a video game? A modern one? Me. What's new in the world? That's going to be more of that earthquake stuff. Xi Jinping, the G20. Hurricane. India. African Union into the G20. Now that would be interesting because there is that other South Africa, which is that triumvirate of countries that have their own little trade. I can't remember. Yeah, man, almost a mile underground. Oh, 3,000 feet, half a mile in. Over half a mile underground. Chiswick. Wow, the British are on top of things, getting after those terrorists. And here's a big question for all of you. Who remembers the name of the British Prime Minister? Yeah, there was the Boris, there was the girl that lasted 2 weeks, there was somebody after her, and I think there was somebody after that. And I have no idea who it is. How about that? Once it's a story for a while, and you learn things, but after it's no longer covered, you forget. I think we got some tuning issues there. I think we got some nut height issues there. That's stretching that one sharp. Alright, well that seems to be everything that's useful. Oh, they have a gaming. Oh boy. How a revolver works. Why is that under gaming? That is weird. Mortal Kombat. Shorts. What? Mussolini? What else is live besides me? Beastie Boys. I thought they were all dead. Lo-fi hip-hop radio. Beats to relax and study to. Ethan is dead to me. Wow. Okay, forget about all that. Music. Wonder if they have a top 10 thing. Cardi B. Nobody cares about your pussy, Cardi B. Nobody does. Put some pants on. New this week. Rolling Stones. What? There's 148 of classic rock's greatest hits. Really? 148, huh? Trending in the United States. Top 100 music videos in the United States. YouTube Music Global Charts playlist updated today. Eminem. He's still wow. Can I actually click on a list? View the full playlist. Let's do that without actually playing anything. What do they got on here anyway? Oliver Anthony. Doja Cat. I can't even pronounce any of these. Latu, putting it on the floor again, featuring Cardi B. She must be in everything. Oliver Anthony, some sort of a cowboy. 90-some Chevy. Young Nudie. Peaches and eggplants. Wow. Miley Cyrus used to be young. Yes, you did, Hannah Montana. Now you're in your mid-40s. Selena Gomez. I thought she was an actress now. Fuck You Tonight? Fuck You Thought? Lil Durk? Smash Mouth All-Star. That's what it takes to get back on the charts, is to die, right? Oh boy, this is really... Jason Aldean tried that in a small town. 35 million views. 158 million views. Peso Pluma? Wow. Oh, yeah. Try that in a small... There was some controversy about that song, right? It was pro-Trump or something. Yeah, I don't even remember. Well, I've heard of Usher. Well, actually, it's nice to see there seems to be a lot of international representation. Fuerza de Regueta, Nathaniel Cano, y la pizza. Miley. There's Billie Eilish. I've heard of her. What was I made for? 49 million views. Oh, that's low. Barbie Girl. Aqua. Taylor Swift. Finally get to see Taylor Swift. And Lady Gaga. Oh, Rick Astley? Never Gonna Stop. 10 days ago, he's got a new song? Isn't that what Rick Rolled came from? Was Rick Rolling a Rick Astley song? Wasn't that it? Billie Jean. 1.4 billion views, yeah. I can't remember how to basically. Well, that was fun. It's really not getting me down to memory lane at all, but I think I recognized 3 or 4 names. I know I've heard of Doja Cat because I watched the Grammys. I think she did a song on the Grammys once. Although that might have been Dua Lipa, though. I've heard of Dua Lipa, too. Rich man north of Richmond. Well, let's see. Richmond is in Virginia, the great state of Virginia, and Virginia is, was Lindsey Graham. Is he from Virginia? Lindsey Graham, full. Lindsey Olin Graham, Seneca, South Carolina. I don't think he was that far south, but should have been charged, in my opinion. I don't know what Ron Johnson. Let me look up Ron Johnson was, because he was trying to do fake electors. Caught in illegal criminal conspiracy and in Georgia. Under fire, but no charges yet. It'd be nice to see that guy deposed. Such a moron. Don't you just hate it when it's your senator up there making a jackass of themselves? And I think we are done with our favorite. Oh, should we look at shorts? Huh? This is the kind of stuff that shows up in my shorts feed.
This has to be the most terrifying way to do a bungee jump. Just watch how they slowly cut this rope with a knife to make sure you see it gradually rip apart right in front of you. I can't even imagine the amount of anticipation.
This is how they played guitar in the 50s. In the 60s, in the 70s,
Don't.
Yeah.
What? What? Is that legal? Well, what a useless interface.
Excuse me? That's my boyfriend. He just said, oh, who likes that? Excuse me?
What?
The chances of you seeing this YouTube short are super rare. There's
Bitch, I said what I said.
El Pepe. El Pepe.
That's what we're moving towards. Moses is going to go up there. Is going to get the law. We're going to establish his.
How to dress to attract a man, a tutorial. Rule number 1, make sure your hair is always long and lustrous and never put up. Rule number 2, make sure to show a little skin, especially those stems, ladies. Rule number 3, footwear should be dainty and delicate. Rule number 4, show off that waist at all times. Rule number 5, always have a pleasant expression on your face. I promise you will attract a man. How to dress to attract.
Oh, that's gotta suck. There's no way that was real.
Come on, Sonny, come on, come on. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Nossa, três.
Come on, man. Nah, missed it. Stretch it out like this. Let's lock it into place. Bam, that's all it needs. Look at that. Done. Look at this. We've locked it in place. But if it sits on my hand like this, watch, it will start to warm back up again. That elastic potential energy.
Watch these Ukrainian soldiers clear mines by kicking them out of the way. Why don't they explode? Because those are not ordinary mines. They are special TM62M anti-tank mines. Each one contains 17 pounds of TNT. That's enough to penetrate a tank's hull. But here's why they can push them out of the way. To activate the mine, you need 330 to 1210 pounds of
When I creek fish, sometimes I catch some real little ones, and I thought it'd be fun to show them off in this.
Hey guys, I just found an even higher.
Jesus. I weep for my country. Wow. Wow. And I thought that the 100 videos were bad. Wow. I'm gonna have to get a snack or something to. This is probably over an hour long. Anyway, enough of this. Later.